What if I told you that some of the foods you enjoy every day, the very things you might see as treats or comforts, are actually working against you, actively speeding up the aging process within your body? It's a startling idea, isn't it? We often think of aging as an inevitable process, something determined by genetics or time, but what if I told you that you have more control than you think? What if, by choosing to avoid certain foods, you held the key to feeling younger, healthier, and more vibrant for far longer? We are not talking about some mystical diet plan or some obscure nutritional strategy. We're talking about something that you can control in your day-to-day life. We are talking about the everyday choices you make that, whether you realize it or not, can either support your health or accelerate the hands of time. It is time to reevaluate our understanding of food and to recognize its true power and its true potential. Today, we're going to explore the hidden culprits, those foods that are not just empty calories, but are actively sabotaging your health and your well-being. We're going to peel back the layers of misinformation and reveal the secrets that food manufacturers often keep hidden and expose the truth about the foods that may be causing you harm. We'll also be looking at the science, the strategies, and the practical steps you can take to make a real difference, to actively slow down the aging process, and to create a life that is full of vitality and joy. It's time to challenge what you know and to take control of your aging process. In our society, there is a common belief that aging is simply a natural process and that any related health problems are simply an unavoidable part of getting older. We are so often told that we are just getting older as we approach our later years, that we are just slowing down, and that there is very little that we can do to change it. But this perspective often overlooks the profound impact that our daily choices have on our bodies. While it is true that our genetics play a role, our dietary choices and our lifestyles are incredibly powerful determinants of how we age. We often accept these changes, and we begin to believe that there is nothing that we can do to slow it down, or that it is simply an inevitable truth that we cannot change. But this belief prevents us from taking the necessary steps to preserve our health and can often lead us down a path of inaction. It also gives us a sense that there is nothing that we can do to influence how our bodies age. What if I told you that our approach to food could have a significant impact on how we age, that what you eat on a daily basis is often the key to maintaining health and preventing many of those diseases that are so often associated with aging? What if I told you that there are certain foods that are actively working against you, that they are not just empty calories, but a constant force that is damaging your cells and accelerating the hands of time? This would dramatically change our perspective and empower us to make better choices for our long-term health. It is time that we recognize that our daily choices can help support our bodies, or conversely, our daily choices can harm them, and that choosing to be proactive is far more important than passively accepting what seems inevitable. It's time to take back our power and realize that the food choices we make every day are a significant determinant of how well we age and of what our future health will look like. Before we dive into the specific foods, it's important to understand the underlying mechanisms that cause accelerated aging. What actually happens within our bodies when we consume these harmful substances? What are the processes that cause damage, and how can we begin to counteract them? There are two key processes that we need to discuss: inflammation and glycation. These are two seemingly invisible forces that, when left unchecked, can wreak havoc on our bodies and accelerate the aging process. Inflammation, in its most basic definition, is the body's natural response to injury or infection. However, when inflammation becomes chronic, it can become incredibly damaging. It is a silent force that slowly and quietly erodes at the body, creating cellular damage and increasing the risk of a range of diseases. It is important to recognize that while inflammation is a natural and vital part of the healing process, chronic inflammation can lead to many age-related issues, including heart disease, diabetes, and even cognitive decline. Glycation is another process that causes harm to our bodies. This is when sugar molecules bind to proteins in our body, causing them to become damaged, stiff, and dysfunctional. This process not only creates damage to our cells, it also prevents them from working effectively, and when this process occurs at a large scale in the body, it can have a very serious impact on our overall health. Glycation is a slow but progressive process, and over time, it will lead to cellular damage, the formation of wrinkles, stiff joints, and an overall decline in bodily functions, which is why it is so important to recognize those foods that contribute to the process. These two processes, inflammation and glycation, are driven by the foods that we choose. We often do not feel these processes occurring within us, and we do not immediately see the impact, but they are, in fact, creating long-term damage that, when left unchecked, will lead to chronic health problems and accelerated aging. It's essential to be aware of these processes and to make conscious choices to minimize their effects. By focusing on reducing inflammation and glycation, you'll find that your body has the best opportunity to thrive and to live a long and healthy life. While it's important to understand these complex biological processes, it's even more important to remember that you are not a passive victim of these processes. You have more power than you realize. It's not just about waiting for the changes to take hold. It's about taking proactive steps to protect your cells and create a better foundation for long-term health. This is all about empowerment and understanding that our food choices have a far more profound impact on our health than many of us realize. It's about choosing to take a more active role in your own health journey, to make conscious and intentional choices that will help you to move forward with a sense of vitality and joy. It is time to recognize that the choices we make each day influence our health, our mobility, and our sense of overall well-being, and it is a journey that you can embark on with knowledge, self-compassion, and a desire for a better quality of life. This isn't just about adding certain foods. It's also about avoiding those foods that contribute to damage and to accelerate the hands of time. It's about creating a shift in your approach to food, to move away from those foods that drain our bodies to those that bring us power and vitality. And this brings us to the core of today's discussion. There are specific foods that are accelerating the aging process, that are actively working against our bodies, and that are contributing to inflammation, glycation, and a host of other health problems. It's time we expose these hidden culprits and reveal the steps that you can take to protect your body and to ensure a healthy life for many years to come. It's time to step away from the myth that aging is out of our control and into a world of active choices and self-empowerment. Let's begin with a food that is often seen as a treat or a reward: refined sugar. This seemingly innocent ingredient is not simply a source of empty calories, but an active saboteur to our health and a key player in accelerating the aging process. It is an ingredient that many of us find difficult to resist, but it is often found in foods that are not only bad for us, but also extremely addictive. Refined sugars are quickly absorbed into our bloodstream, causing a rapid spike in blood sugar levels. This triggers a surge of insulin, which can lead to insulin resistance, a metabolic disorder that increases the risk of type 2 diabetes and other serious health problems. Insulin resistance will also lead to weight gain, particularly around the abdomen, another factor that is often associated with accelerated aging. Beyond this, when we ingest too much refined sugar, the molecules will bind to the proteins in our body through the process of glycation, causing damage to our cells and leading to that all too familiar process of inflammation. When you have a high blood sugar level, it acts as an inflammatory agent, creating a cycle of inflammation that can cause cellular damage throughout your body. This chronic inflammation damages our skin, causes joint pain, decreases our energy levels, and contributes to numerous other long-term health problems. You will find refined sugars in a variety of different places, including sugary drinks like sodas and juices, in processed foods, in sweets, and in pastries, and so it often becomes a habit to ingest them. It is so important to read the labels on your food and to be aware of the hidden sugars that are lurking in even the most seemingly innocuous food items. Often they are presented in a variety of different ways, such as high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, or other names that don't instantly call to mind the image of sugar. When you are constantly consuming these refined sugars, you are putting your body in a state of constant damage. It will affect not just how you feel, but how you age. It is not just about empty calories, it is about the long-term impact on your cellular health, which will, ultimately, speed up the aging process. This is not about depriving yourself of all joy, but about making conscious and informed choices that will support your overall health and longevity. It is about breaking free from the cycle of addiction and about taking control of your diet. Let's move on to another group of foods that actively contributes to the acceleration of the aging process: processed meats. We often see these meats at the center of so many meals, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but it's time we understood the underlying process and how these meats can be incredibly harmful to your health. Processed meats are not only packed with harmful compounds that contribute to inflammation, they also have been linked to various chronic health problems. Processed meats are preserved through a process that often involves curing, smoking, or salting, all of which create compounds that are particularly damaging to our cells. These methods can also create harmful substances like nitrates and nitrites, which have been linked to various types of cancer. Therefore, it is important to be mindful of these chemicals and understand their impact on your long-term health. When you ingest processed meats, these harmful compounds create inflammation in your body, leading to cellular damage and accelerated aging. This is also compounded by the fact that they are often high in salt, which can contribute to high blood pressure and other cardiovascular problems. These are not just issues for seniors, but they are also key causes of disease throughout people's lives, and that should serve as a warning for us all. Examples of processed meats include bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats, and cured meats. It's also important to acknowledge that they can also be found in a wide variety of processed foods. The key is to be aware of the hidden dangers and to consciously choose whole, unprocessed foods whenever possible. The negative impact of processed meats is very significant, particularly when they are regularly consumed. Choosing to make a shift away from processed meats is not about deprivation. It is about making more informed choices about what you choose to put in your body, and it's about choosing health and longevity over convenience. Your body deserves to be nourished, not to be consistently damaged, and it is vital to begin understanding the steps that you can take to prioritize your health and to create an environment that supports your vitality. Let's turn our attention to trans fats, a hidden danger that is far more common than many of us realize. These are substances that are often lurking in many of the foods that we consume, and they are a major contributor to inflammation, heart disease, and other health issues. Trans fats are a form of unsaturated fat that are created when vegetable oils are processed through hydrogenation, and this process creates a product that is not only harmful, but is also very difficult for our bodies to break down. Trans fats are not only a source of inflammation, but they are also actively working against you in every aspect of your body's functionality. They can increase your risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. They can contribute to memory problems and cognitive decline, and they also damage your skin, making it more likely to wrinkle prematurely. The damage that trans fats create is wide-ranging and has a negative impact on the overall health and well-being of the entire body. It is essential to remember that trans fats are often hidden in processed and packaged foods, such as fried foods, fast food, pastries, and baked goods. They are also often lurking in packaged snacks and packaged meals. For this reason, reading food labels is essential for those who are seeking to avoid them, because it's often not immediately obvious where they can be found. They may be labeled as partially hydrogenated oils, and so it's important to read the full ingredients list and to be aware of all the different ways that they may be represented. Eliminating trans fats is not about deprivation. It's about making a conscious choice to protect your health and to prevent damage before it even has a chance to occur. It's about choosing whole foods over processed options, and it's about remembering that health is a choice that you have available to you every single day. It is an empowering process of choosing what will serve you rather than harm you. Let's now turn our attention to another group of commonly consumed foods: refined carbohydrates. These foods, often appearing as a source of quick energy, can cause a surge of blood sugar that will ultimately lead to energy crashes, and over time, they can contribute to a variety of health problems and accelerate the aging process. They are an enticing and ubiquitous part of our modern diet, but they are also one of the most dangerous. Refined carbohydrates are foods that have been stripped of much of their nutrients and fiber through processes that make them easier to digest, but also cause them to be quickly absorbed into the bloodstream, leading to rapid spikes in blood sugar and followed by equally rapid crashes. This can lead to weight gain, insulin resistance, and an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. It also contributes to glycation, as it leads to higher levels of glucose in your bloodstream that attach to proteins. When you consume refined carbohydrates, they can contribute to inflammation, and they will also cause you to feel less energized as your body struggles to process the sudden increase in blood glucose. This is a cycle that is difficult to maintain. It is a short-lived burst of energy that does not support a healthy body over the long term. The more you rely on refined carbohydrates, the more you are setting yourself up for failure. Refined carbohydrates are commonly found in white bread, pasta, pastries, sugary cereals, and processed snacks. Choosing whole grains instead is an important step towards protecting your health and your well-being, as they will digest slowly, offering sustained energy and preventing blood sugar spikes, while also providing your body with a wide range of essential nutrients. The decision to avoid refined carbohydrates is not about denying yourself pleasure. It's about making more conscious choices and understanding that your food choices have a long-term impact on your health and well-being. It's about choosing foods that will support your energy, your mood, and your overall quality of life, instead of ones that deplete it. It's about choosing a path that supports a more balanced, steady, and fulfilling journey and a better health outcome for you for many years to come. Now, let's talk about another substance that many of us consume regularly: alcohol. While it's often presented as a way to relax or socialize, excessive alcohol consumption can create cellular damage, increase stress, and negatively impact your overall health, and therefore may contribute to accelerated aging. It is something that you may wish to approach with intention, care, and responsibility, and that requires conscious consideration of how it impacts your body. When you ingest alcohol, your body has to work hard to metabolize it, and this process can create byproducts that damage your cells, contribute to inflammation, and put extra stress on your liver. Over time, excessive alcohol consumption can lead to a whole range of problems, including liver disease, cognitive impairment, and a variety of other health concerns. The liver, being a major organ responsible for processing toxins, is under considerable stress from the metabolization of alcohol. It also causes dehydration and can therefore leave you feeling fatigued. The impact of alcohol extends far beyond your liver, negatively affecting your sleep, reducing your cognitive function, and damaging your skin. It can contribute to premature aging and lead to a host of health issues that can dramatically impact your overall well-being and also affect your quality of life as you age. It's important to be mindful of your alcohol consumption and to make conscious choices that prioritize your long-term well-being. The key here is moderation. Occasional alcohol intake in moderation may not be harmful, but excessive or consistent drinking can have a long-term detrimental effect. This is not a message of prohibition. It is a message of empowerment to enable you to make more informed decisions about your own habits and to recognize how your choices can impact your health. It is about listening to your body and creating a healthier relationship with alcohol to ensure that you are supporting, rather than undermining, your overall well-being. It is about choosing health, joy, and vitality over a habit that could slowly damage you over time. let's now address a very common ingredient that is used in most packaged and processed foods: salt. While a small amount of salt is essential to our health, excessive salt consumption is a major contributor to high blood pressure, fluid retention, and a variety of other age-related health conditions. It is an ingredient that is both necessary to our bodily functions, but that can also cause harm if we are not mindful about it. It can often be difficult to determine where salt is lurking because it's found in a wide variety of packaged foods, fast foods, and processed snacks, and while some may be obvious, many are hidden and difficult to discern. When you consume too much salt, it causes your body to retain fluid, increasing your blood pressure and placing additional strain on your heart. Over time, this can also increase your risk of heart disease, stroke, and kidney problems. High blood pressure is a silent killer that often has no immediately recognizable symptoms, and often by the time we realize there is a problem, it has already done a great deal of harm to our bodies. This is why it's so important to take a proactive approach to your salt intake and to understand how salt impacts your overall well-being. It's important to be aware of the hidden sodium content in the packaged foods and to always read food labels carefully, seeking out products with lower levels of salt and understanding the ingredients and sodium content. It is also vital to start replacing salt with other healthier options, using herbs, spices, and other natural flavorings to enhance the taste of your meals. When you explore the other spices and flavors available to you, you'll also find a more creative approach to cooking and may also find yourself enjoying food more fully. The goal isn't about avoiding salt altogether, but about minimizing your intake, particularly through those packaged and processed foods where it is so often present. You can also work to reduce your reliance on salty snacks and instead choose snacks that are naturally more healthy and supportive of your overall well-being. It is not about depriving yourself. It is about choosing to make more informed choices that support your health and your longevity by choosing a different, healthier approach to flavor and to snacking. And let's talk about one of the most tempting and yet most damaging types of foods: fried foods. While often delicious and enjoyable, fried foods are a source of harmful compounds that are created at high temperatures, and they can significantly impact the health of our cells and contribute to accelerated aging. It is about understanding the negative impact of how food is prepared, as well as the type of food that we choose, so it is vital to be mindful of the methods used in cooking. When food is fried, it is often immersed in oil that is heated to a high temperature, which creates harmful compounds that damage our cells and that increase inflammation throughout the body. It also means that the foods are often loaded with harmful fats that contribute to high cholesterol levels and many other chronic health problems. Therefore, the combination of fried cooking and the use of oils can be damaging to our bodies. The negative impact of fried foods extends to all areas of your health, not only increasing your risk of heart disease and diabetes, but also contributing to digestive problems, skin issues, and a general feeling of lethargy. And this will decrease your energy levels and prevent you from living your best and most active life. These are factors that contribute to decreased mobility and decreased quality of life. It is not about eliminating all types of fat, but about choosing which types of fats we consume and choosing methods of preparation that support, rather than harm, our bodies. Instead of choosing fried foods, you can choose healthier alternatives, such as baking, steaming, grilling, or sautéing with a small amount of healthy oil. You can still enjoy delicious and flavorful meals without exposing yourself to the harmful effects of fried foods. It's about making choices that honor your body and that support a long and healthy life. It is about knowing that what you eat can impact how you feel and recognizing the connection between your food choices and your overall well-being. It is about empowering yourself with knowledge and choosing to prioritize health over temptation, knowing that this is a valuable investment in your future. Now that we have explored the foods to avoid, let's delve into some practical strategies that can support our journey towards better health. The first step is becoming a conscious consumer and taking control of what you put into your body. This begins with simply learning how to read food labels and understanding what those labels are trying to tell us. The labels, often presented in ways that are confusing and unclear, are a powerful tool for creating a better and healthier diet. It's so important to be able to identify those ingredients that we are seeking to avoid, such as hidden sugars, trans fats, and excess sodium. Look at the amount of added sugar, not just the total amount, and also pay attention to all the different names that sugar is often labeled as. Look for partially hydrogenated oils to understand which foods contain trans fats, and focus on the amount of sodium per serving, rather than looking just at the overall number. The best method for choosing food is to pick whole foods with as few ingredients as possible. It is also very important to know that the order of the ingredients indicates their proportions. Ingredients that are closer to the beginning are the most dominant in that food. And be aware that some products try to hide the amount of sugar they include by using multiple different forms of sugar so that they appear lower on the list. Therefore, it is important to understand that sugar is sugar no matter how many different variations are included. It can also be very helpful to compare different food labels and look at the nutrition information per serving. This allows you to make a more informed choice and choose the foods that are aligned with your nutritional goals. This does not mean that you have to be a nutritional expert. You simply need to be a mindful and conscious consumer who is seeking to support your well-being. It is not just about reading the labels. It is also about making informed and conscious choices that truly honor your body. By becoming a more proactive consumer, you will be able to take charge of your health and to prioritize your overall well-being. It is about rejecting the idea that we are simply at the mercy of the packaged foods that are available to us and choosing to make the best decisions for ourselves and for our futures. Beyond avoiding the harmful foods, it's also essential to focus on incorporating whole, unprocessed foods into your meals. It's also about shifting our focus from what to avoid to what we can choose to nourish ourselves with. Whole foods, such as fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains, are packed with the essential nutrients that our bodies need to thrive, and that work to counter the effects of those harmful foods that we are working to avoid. Fruits and vegetables are rich in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and fiber. Lean proteins provide the building blocks for muscle repair and growth. And whole grains provide sustained energy and promote digestive health. When you are focusing on eating whole foods, you are not just nourishing your body, but you are also supporting overall health, well-being, and long-term vitality. Whole foods are also full of phytonutrients, which are compounds that have powerful anti-inflammatory and anti-aging properties, working in a similar way to antioxidants that fight the damage of free radicals and reduce the negative impact of those harmful processes. By embracing whole foods, you are also actively supporting your body's natural ability to heal, to regenerate, and to protect itself from disease, and this is one of the best things that you can do for long-term health. This is about focusing on what you can add, rather than only on what you can remove. It also means that you are choosing foods that naturally support your health, your energy levels, your mood, and also your longevity. When you choose foods that are as close to their natural state as possible, you'll be supporting your body, your mind, and your overall sense of well-being. It is about creating a life that is full of vitality, joy, and a deep sense of peace and satisfaction. When embarking on a journey of change, it can often seem daunting to cut out the foods that you often enjoy, so it can be helpful to focus instead on finding more enjoyable and more effective alternatives. It is not about a life of sacrifice. It is about discovering new ways to nourish yourself that are both pleasurable and also highly supportive of your long-term well-being. Instead of sugary drinks, you can choose water, herbal teas, or unsweetened sparkling water, all of which have the added benefit of being hydrating, unlike the sugary sodas that often dehydrate you. Instead of processed meats, you can seek out alternatives like grilled chicken, baked fish, or lean plant-based protein sources like tofu, lentils, beans, or mushrooms. When you try different varieties of meatless options, you might even find that there are many more options that you enjoy than you ever considered possible. And instead of reaching for refined carbohydrates, such as white bread or pastries, you can choose from whole grain options like whole wheat bread, quinoa, brown rice, or oats. And the more that you choose these types of foods, the more you will begin to crave them, as your body begins to recognize what foods make you feel good and what do not. Your body will be able to tell you what it really wants. This isn't about deprivation, it's about exploration and about discovering the many delicious options that can support your long-term health and well-being. It's about recognizing that you have the agency to make different choices and that there are delicious and equally satisfying replacements that will allow you to stay on the path towards a life that is full of vitality, joy, and health. You are not alone on this journey, and there is a whole world of culinary delights waiting for you to explore. Even when you choose healthier foods, it is equally important to be aware of portion sizes and to make the conscious choice to practice mindful eating. Even the healthiest foods can contribute to weight gain and health problems when consumed in excess. And conversely, a small amount of your favorite not-so-healthy foods may do very little damage when you make other conscious choices. This is not about restriction, it is about balance, moderation, and understanding that all foods have a place in a balanced lifestyle. Portion control is about being aware of how much food you are eating and using visual cues, such as measuring cups and plates, to help you determine appropriate serving sizes. It's also important to slow down and to take your time and to avoid eating while you are distracted. When we eat more slowly, it allows our bodies to have more time to register when we are full, and it prevents us from overeating and consuming too many calories too quickly. This is all about learning to listen to your body, to pay attention to your hunger cues, and to avoid eating from emotional need. You can also take the time to savor every bite, to fully appreciate the flavor, the texture, and the overall experience of eating a meal. Eating slower and enjoying the sensations is a great way to practice mindfulness and to make your mealtimes a more calming and enjoyable experience. This is also an essential part of a whole foods diet, as this method creates a more sustainable and balanced relationship with your food. When we focus on portion control, it's not about restricting your food choices, but about making conscious decisions that are aligned with your long-term health and well-being. It's about honoring your body, about eating in a way that is both pleasurable and also supportive of your overall goals, and about understanding that eating is so much more than just a source of fuel. It is also about finding joy, enjoyment, and satisfaction. When you want to take even more control over your food, there is one major step that you can choose to incorporate: home cooking. Preparing more of your meals at home gives you a greater sense of control over ingredients, portions, and cooking methods, and allows you to make the choices that most deeply align with your needs. When you cook at home, you are the one who is taking control of your food and not simply relying on choices that are made for you. When you cook at home, you are in charge of the quality of the ingredients, and you can prioritize those whole and unprocessed options. You can choose healthy fats, you can minimize the use of salt, sugar, and trans fats, and you can choose portion sizes that are right for you and your family. And what's more, cooking at home can also be an enjoyable, creative, and meditative experience, allowing you to experiment with flavors and to explore different cultures. It's also an opportunity to connect with your loved ones, to cook together, and to share delicious and healthy meals. This will also create more opportunity to connect over food and to make mealtimes a source of joy rather than something you feel obligated to do. When you cook at home, you are creating more connection and also more consciousness. The key is to make cooking a celebration rather than a chore and to invite others to join in, transforming the kitchen into a space for collaboration, connection, and overall joy. It's a reminder that food is not just a source of sustenance, it's a source of pleasure, it's a tool for connection, and it's a way to express love and creativity to yourself and also those you care about. When you choose to cook at home, you are choosing a more active, mindful, and joyful approach to your meals, as well as making a long-term commitment to your health. We've explored a lot today, and now it's time to take a moment to reflect on the journey we have traveled and to consider all that we have learned about the foods that can negatively impact our overall health and contribute to accelerated aging. Remember, knowledge is power, and it's only with knowledge and understanding that we can make those conscious choices that truly support our long-term health and well-being. Let's quickly recap the 7 foods that we have explored today. We talked about refined sugars and their role in glycation, weight gain, and inflammation. We talked about processed meats and the harmful compounds that they contain, including trans fats, which can increase your risk of heart disease and cancer, and refined carbohydrates, which lead to rapid spikes in blood sugar and a lack of sustained energy. We also talked about excessive alcohol consumption and the cellular damage that it can cause, the importance of limiting excess salt, and the value of avoiding fried foods to support cellular health and to reduce the stress on the body. These 7 foods are all incredibly common, and they are often the staples of a modern diet. However, they have the power to slowly erode our health, to negatively impact our vitality, and to speed up the aging process. Knowing this, you can now begin making more informed choices that actively support your well-being. It is time to understand that the choices that we make each day do, in fact, matter, and that we hold the key to both our health and also our vitality. While it's important to be aware of the foods to avoid, I also want to remind you that this journey is not about perfection, it's about consistency. It is often easy to fall into the trap of perfectionism, of believing that we must always make the best choices, or of beating ourselves up when we slip. But it is important to remember that every single choice that you make will have an impact on your body, so all you can do is keep making choices that you feel are supporting you. It is also vital to remember that change is a process, and there will be days where you will struggle to stay on track, but it is those moments when self-compassion is so essential. It is okay to acknowledge that we are all humans and that we are all making an effort in the right direction. Progress, not perfection, is the key. It is about acknowledging that you are doing your best and that you are moving forward, even when you might occasionally stumble or make a mistake. It is also helpful to remember that small, consistent changes are far more sustainable than a complete overhaul of your entire lifestyle. Take one step at a time, focus on one habit that you can incorporate into your routine, and then, over time, you can begin to add more. Be patient with yourself, and remember that this is a journey, not a destination, and that your overall goal is to create a healthier approach to food that feels both enjoyable and also sustainable. This is a marathon, not a sprint, and you are not in a race to a finish line, but are rather choosing a different approach to your daily life. It's time to move away from the fears, the concerns, and the feelings of stress, and instead to focus on a more positive and empowering vision for the future. When you actively choose to avoid those foods that accelerate aging, you are not just protecting your body from harm, you are actively creating an opportunity for better health, increased energy, and a greater quality of life. You are creating a life that is full of vitality, joy, and all the things that matter most to you. Imagine waking up each day feeling energized, focused, and full of vitality. Imagine being able to enjoy a long and active life, free from the limitations of chronic diseases. Imagine feeling confident, empowered, and in control of your own health journey. This isn't just some impossible dream. It's something that is achievable when you embrace this knowledge and begin making choices that support your long-term well-being. This is not just about what you avoid, it's about what you create. You are not only avoiding potentially harmful foods, you are also creating a life that is full of delicious meals, balanced nutrition, and the knowledge that you are the author of your own health story. And the most important thing is that you will have more energy to do all the things that matter to you. It's about transforming your entire approach to food and recognizing it as an act of both self-love and self-care. I hope that this video has empowered you with the knowledge and the inspiration to take control of your own health and to see food not as a source of harm, but as a tool for creating well-being. Now, it's your turn. It's time for you to begin making those small changes, to start reading labels, to begin choosing whole foods, and to start limiting those foods that are actively working against you. I'd like to invite you to share your experiences in the comments section below. What are some of the changes that you are planning to make, and what challenges do you anticipate? I am also here to support you on this journey, and it is through shared experiences and open dialogue that we can all learn from one another. And please remember that you are not alone. There is an entire community of people who are seeking more information about how to improve their health and well-being, and it is here that you are welcome and that you will be supported on your journey. And if you want to continue learning and growing, please be sure to explore the resources that I have provided in the description box below, including links to articles, research papers, and helpful organizations. And if you found this video valuable, please support the creation of more valuable content by leaving a comment, liking this video and sharing it with others. And most importantly, please subscribe to this channel so that I can continue to create content that empowers you, that informs you, and that helps you live your best and healthiest life. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.